Our school is committed to the intellectual and personal development of our students, inspiring them and empowering them to become positive, active global citizens. That was the mission statement of the last school I attended. It sounds pretty good, right? When you hear that, you think that their students are smiling, happy-go-lucky kids, eager to make the world a better place. But that's a facade. And I know that a business's mission statement is supposed to reflect the goals and aspirations of an organization, but it should be somewhat based in reality too, right? Every day, I saw students crying in the hallways and the bathrooms from the stress of school. I knew kids who had to go to therapy or take prescribed medication just to make it through the day. Does that sound like a positive citizen to you? And it's not just that school. I have lived across the globe and attended over 10 different schools, and I can tell you that this isn't something just unique to that group of students. Sadness and depression persist across the world. Sadly, depression is a fairly common mental illness, and the number of people who experience it has been increasing, reaching rates previously unheard of by earlier generations. Blue Cross Blue Shield states that the number of people who experience depression has increased by 33% since 2013. But even though the numbers are increasing, the concept isn't really a new one. Let's go back. I mean, way back. Unhappiness in humans dates all the way back to hunter-gatherer societies. Humans aren't really evolutionarily designed to feel content due to the survival instincts we acquired back then. The Independent newspaper states that experts in this field argue that nature's failure to weed out depression in the evolutionary process is due precisely to the fact that it played a useful role in times of adversity. Think about it for a second. If we looked at our stick house and said, yeah, I'm okay with that, when winter came, we would have frozen to death. No, we constantly improved, always striving for perfection. We added some leaves on, caked some bottom for support, and bam, before you knew it, we had cities. Our species advanced, however, discontentment still followed us. Due to our desolation, people tried to make meaning out of their lives, to find or give the illusion of happiness. Take religions and spiritual beliefs, for example. Not only do they attempt to explain how we were made, but it comforts people knowing that their religion answers that question. It also comforts people in other ways. It's easy when someone is feeling sad to say, I'll pray for you, or God has a plan. It gives a short glimpse of hope, a moment of happiness to the person. It also consoles people to let them think that this life isn't all that there is, and that there is, in fact, a light at the end of the tunnel, a place where they will be truly content. However, religions and spiritual beliefs were just one of the many ways that humankind tried to be happy. People began to associate happiness with various concepts and ideas. The concepts of family, friends, and love were thrust into the public eye, but if anything, they had the opposite effect of making people feel even more alone. Not everyone has a family that loves them, friends to care for, or someone to love. Portraying these things as universal means of happiness made people feel as if they were missing out, and in turn, even more unhappy. But once again, these concepts were not the only perpetrators. Think about modern society. Think about social media. What do you see on there? Fast cars, huge mansions, perfect bodies. These are the 1%'s lives, but they're shown as the majority. And what is in common with each and every one of these pictures? They're smiling. They're all smiling. These things, these ideas are shown as ways that everyone can be happy. But are they really? And I know what you're thinking. I would be happier with that car or that house or that body, and I personally would be inclined to believe you. But statistics won't. A study from Purdue University found that once an individual reaches around $105,000 a year as their annual income, their happiness levels actually start to decrease. I know that sounds kind of weird, but think about it for a second. You say to yourself, I will finally be content with that house. But what about this one, or this one, or this one? There is always more. Even when people finally do find happiness, they aren't always accepted. We, as a society, have begun to gatekeep certain hobbies and activities to certain groups of people. We have begun to stereotype not only each other, but our means of finding happiness. Video games are for boys, toys are for kids, fashion is for women, but these things can be enjoyed by other people. Take me, for example. I love cars. Here pictured is actually my favorite car, a 1957 Chevrolet Bel Air, but I've never really felt comfortable sharing that fact with too many people. Why? Because I feel like I can't love cars. They're for men, right? And even if I do, this cannot possibly be my favorite car because I don't know how much horsepower is produced by its 4.6-liter super turbo Firebeat engine. Do you see how ridiculous that sounds? Why are we restricting each other's already limited methods of being happy even more? Well, I guess misery really does love company. But you know what? Happiness does too. We, together, as a group of individuals, are starting to fight the norms we set decades ago surrounding hobbies. You know earlier how I said that video games are a male-dominated activity? Well, the BBC says that the number of female gamers is actually increasing more than male gamers right now. Adults are starting to pick up traditionally childish activities like constructing Lego sets, and men are diving more and more into fashion every day. And we, as a group of people, are now more accepting of that. The human race has done some amazing things over the years, or millennia, I guess. We've made the wheel, we've tamed fire, we made steam engines, the internet, smartphones, and so much more. But I really and truly think that the most impressive thing the human race has done is progress. We weren't evolutionarily designed for happiness, so some found their own through religions and beliefs. Others weren't content with the concepts of family, friends, and love, so they created new ones. And we weren't accepting of other people's happiness, but that changed. We moved forward into a place where our differences are not only tolerated, but celebrated. We have just recently begun to defy our history and not repeat it. I guess I'm just here to say keep it up. We have come so far, but there is so much more to do. Keep encouraging yourself and others to be content and joyful. Happiness might not have been something that we were meant to experience, but man, we sure made it into a reality. Thank you.